Welcome to Neighborhood News. John, Sylvia with Carlos.
Yes, and it's a Tuesday again, 7 o'clock at night, Channel 95. We are back with one more Neighborhood News show. And before we introduce our guests, and we have plenty to talk today, I want to welcome the Portuguese community, like always I do. Sejam bem-vindos a mais programa da sua comunidade, programa que é feito todas as terças-feiras às 7 da noite e nós trazemos sempre convidados para conversar conosco. So it's one more week, and we are going into summer really fast now. And with that comes all the activities on the parks around our neighborhoods. John, you have one already this month?
Yeah, we have at the end of June, June 28th to be exact, from 10 to 2, we're going to have a volunteer slash cookout day. We have neighborhood banners that were ordered, and they'll be hanging around Pulaski Park and the neighborhood. And we're going to try to do some sprucing up of that park, and then a cookout for the folks that show up, volunteers, and anybody else that shows up. So far we have Home Depot coming, the police and fire department are going to do a demonstration. We have somebody that's going to do face painting. I was able to get somebody today. And we're also going to have a DJ. So it should be fun.
It's good. And with the summer comes all these free events. On our neighborhoods, we're having our movie nights, fun day and movie night, July 12th, so for next month.
Cool.
And then we have our Flint Pride Days, our block party, on July 26th. This month, June 21st and 22nd, we're going to be at Todd Lot. We're going to be painting and improving that basketball courts on the corner of Quikasham and Pleasant Street. That is part of the mini grant that we got from the mayor's office, which you're going to be using the grants.
For our banners and the cookout. But yeah, and the next week we're going to be, as a part of the citywide cleanup, we're going to be sprucing up the islands on Brayton Avenue as we do every year. So, so that'll be good. Yeah.
And the citywide cleanup, we're going to have a big crew from the gas company and the electric company. We're going to be working at the Britland Park. We're going to be working on the waterfronts, trying to release some of the view of the Quikasham River. Cool. I know the company just contacted me. They're going to start on Friday with a cookout. The gas and the electric company, they're going to, 12 o'clock, they're going to have a cookout for the employees. And the company is going to pay the employees to work Friday, the rest of the day at the park, and then they will come back on Saturday as volunteers.
Wow.
But to start to get more stuff done, the companies are providing a cookout for them at the park, and then they're going to go back to work. Very, very good companies. They always give back to the neighborhoods and to the community. So it's very nice to see this work. You know,
helps, right?
Everybody helps, and I have to thank the Flint Station fire department, the firefighters on the Flint Station there, because they help us last weekend spread the mulch on the trees on Pleasant Street, and they're coming back again to paint the fences at the Todd Lot. So again, everybody helps, and that makes it the Fall River that we know.
Yep, exactly.
The Fall River that you know. So enough with this. Let's get down to business. Let's have a real serious conversation. I don't know if I can be serious now.
Yeah, well, that's
but
why
not 20 minutes.
We kind of dressed down a little bit, so because of our guest here.
Exactly. I mean, I knew that he was going to be very well dressed today, so I said, why not? Why not? So I didn't have the same outfit that would fit me. So, but like always, you introduce the guest.
Yeah. Well, welcome, CJ Ferry.
Oh, thank you very much. And for those of you out there, as you can see,
he's a
I
backman.
am not a supporter of pay-as-you-throw. So I came dressed in a garbage bag. And by the way, this garbage bag will cost you $100 to $300 if you throw it away.
But the reason I'm saying that I would not have one that would fit me, because no way I could trash a bag this size. You know.
But anyway,
we have a family of 4.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we're going to be like Fox News today, fair and balanced here, because
I will call a round table, because we are both in favor of the program since the beginning.
Yeah.
And CJ is not. But since I have CJ here, I have to thank TJ. I mean, we have to thank TJ, because we never did publicly, because he's the other part of our crew that puts everything online. So when you watch our show on either YouTube or Facebook, it's a job done by CJ, and we have to thank you. We never did publicly.
Yeah, it's always been my pleasure. And if you remember correctly, I was the guy behind the board when
we
first
started.
Yes. So,
yes.
You know, it's
then
been a pleasure to see the show grow.
Sick. Then you got sick. I remember that. But yes, he was our first. And it's been a long way after that.
Yeah.
We going in a year and a half now, right? I believe was back in May.
Yeah.
Or it's 2 years.
Oh, it's 2 years. I think it's
2 years.
now,
2 years, yeah.
Wow.
It was a year ago that I got sick.
I didn't know we were going to last 6 months. But we made this long. I guess we're doing something right.
Yeah. And the show gets a lot of people who watch it, believe it or not, because I have access to the viewer records online, and it's amazing the shows that I produce and Troy City Productions has something to do with. And a lot of our shows get viewership from outside of Fall River. Wow. And those are people, obviously, who have a history with Fall River. So they're connecting back here to hear these, you know, to hear these shows and see what's going on in Fall
what's
River.
going on, especially news. The show show says it all. But it's true. It's tough because we have our busy agendas, and we try to be here every 2 weeks and tape 2 shows, so the viewers could expect a new show every Tuesday night. That's why sometimes happens what happened today. We just, you know, doing nothing. It's tonight we have the show. No time to go home, take a shower, put the tie. No time for that. Yeah. So I think that's what makes us a good show. Okay, let's talk about trash.
Let's talk about trash. Let's do some trash talking here in Fall River.
And this is going to be like a round table. Because,
I think it's going to be more like an attack.
Yeah. Because as you know, me and John, on the first proposal that came, the first of 5 proposals that came down in front of the city council, we were there on the first proposal, and we would in favor of the pay-as-you-throw. I still didn't change my mind. I still think that's the best for the city. If it's going to take a lot of work to get it done the right way, yes, I believe so. That we have to teach people how to recycle. Still, after 5 or 6 years that we implement the recycling program, yes, all that I believe. Yeah. But now will, I guess, become a reality. Yeah. And I have to say this, and if the things would change around and say everybody will get charged $60 a year to pay for the trash, people will make a big thing. You know, it's another $60 a year. That happened with the $35 fee for the water. This way is cheap for everybody. If it will not be cheap for you if you don't want to work, you know, and make it work. But if you want to make it work, it's cheap enough. And I said, and on our first meeting, what the mayor proposed to us, you were there last week. Somebody was asking about the 15 gallons bags, 15-gallon bags. I told that person, if you're going to use a 15-gallon bag, you are not recycling, period. I use a Stop and Shop bag for my trash. So you know how much it's going to cost me? 75 cents a week. So why do I have to pay for those that are not doing their job? That's my points, and I can discuss with anybody, and you're going to be the first one to hear. So you heard from me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a big misconception amongst a lot of people. People are saying it's no pay as you throw. It's more like we don't want the deception. The mayor is trying to skirt the law. Okay, he's trying to do an end roundabout on Prop 2.5. He does not want an ordinance which governs pay as you throw, and there's no ordinance which governs a fine. So how can the city enforce this protocol when there's no ordinance around it? Therefore, he's talking his talking points, but there's nothing to back them up. But then you get the city administrator, Kathy Ann Viveris, who comes out and says, we will go through your trash and we will fine both the tenant and the landlord. It used to be the tenant or the landlord. Now it's both. And Kathy Ann has said, well, the tenant should be responsible for his business. I'm a landlord. I own my home and I live in the home that I rent. So I can't go into these apartments and say, you must do this. So I, like many other property owners, are looking at the fact that, do we want to take the chance of getting that fine of $100 to $300? Because you get that once, it's $100. You might be able to recoup that. If it happens a second time, by accident or whatever other means, because remember, we don't know who may drive by in the middle of the night, which happens currently now in Fall River, and dump their trash there without a bag. So there's too many holes in this system that are no way of being addressed. And the worst part about it is, every other city and town in the Commonwealth who has pay-as-you-throw has an ordinance governing the pay-as-you-throw and has an ordinance governing the fining of those violators. The mayor says we don't need it. Well, if we don't need it, why did Waste Zero come out with one that they've made available on their website for cities and towns to adopt? I mean, this is our big questions. And the administration says, no, we don't have to do that. And then when asked, what happens if 10% of the property owners switch over to privatized trash collection? Because currently we do have a lot of property owners which do have privatized trash collection because they're over the 6 units that are by law. If you're over 6 units, the city doesn't collect your trash. So they have privatized trash collection. But what if the rest of them start switching over? 10% of them is going to cost the city $350,000. It now makes their budget unsustainable. And I can see you have a copy of the budget there, Carlos. Yeah. And you already know there's a lot of holes in that budget. So many holes that they had that same budget examined over the weekend by a former city administrator. So how can the mayor say that this money is going to be used to fund firefighters and to fund DCM? You can't do that. If this is going to, if the money from this is going to fund DCM, then let's convert DCM into an enterprise fund. This way, the money that comes in will fund DCM, and that will free up the money from DCM's budget to fund the other departments.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, then, CJ, what happens is, you know, and this is what's been totally frustrating for me the last year. Everybody wants their little piece of the pie, but they don't want to come in and compromise. And this is one thing that I even saw with the insurance. When you look at the employee benefits for the city of Fall River, it's just the retirement and then the benefits are like $30 or $40 million. That's unsustainable. And I know, and I know with even, you know, on your show, Chipper, I look at that and I'm like, all right, when they're talking about the insurance for retirees, why isn't everybody on Medicare? You know why? They don't really tell you this, because those people are going to have to pay $140. But everybody pretty much in this country, Medicare is your primary. When you have health insurance, which most people, there's very few that can carry health insurance into retirement, they get a supplemental that they pay $200 for. So
in response to that, though,
yep.
Under Massachusetts law,
yep.
all retirees upon attaining the age of 65
yep.
must enroll in the Medicare program.
Okay.
They don't have an option. Their only option of not enrolling in a Medicare program is if they have a family member who is under 65 or who does not qualify for Medicare because of disability or something else. Okay. Then they have to stay in the family plan. Yep. But other than that, they all must be on Medicare. All right,
so they're on Medicare now.
Yes.
So basically then this whole thing about going to the GIC was a scare tactic because, just hear me out,
I'm going to hear
80% of the health care is paid by Medicare. Their insurance through the city is only paying 20%. So there would have been no big charges. I looked at the health plans there, like Tufts and Harvard Health. How are these people saying that they're going to have all these copays? And let me just finish my thought with this. I have worked my health insurance, I have not seen a $5, and the city has $5 and $10 copays. I have not seen that since 1988. My copays now are $25 for a doctor or $35 for a specialist, which is really everybody, unless you go to your primary care doctor, and I haven't been in years. So whenever I go to the doctor, I'm paying $35. So I think, and I work for the feds, so you're not going to get a lot of sympathy from me out there either. So I look at this, that it's just that right there. The employees won't come together. And that, I believe, would have saved money. But I think the mayor had to back down because of this whole thing where you don't want all these older people out there screaming. You always got these little sects here. So my thing is, let's start thinking as a city as a whole. Not this group, then it was the firemen. So if you were the mayor, and I'm not, you know, I've told the mayor, I have not always agreed with him, I've told him that, you know, but I look at it that you got all these people pulling in one way. They all want their piece of the pie, but they don't care that we have 33 kids in elementary schools now. Can you imagine you, or even me as a teacher, I'm getting older now, you know, trying to take care of 30 kids, teaching them, watching them. But you don't hear an outcry about that. But we heard the outcry about the GIC, the outcry about the fire department. It just boggles my mind that, you know what I mean? So if you were the mayor, how do we get around all this stuff?
Well, the thing is, on the GIC, okay, the problem was not so much that it was being switched to GIC, it was the manner, again, in which it was being done. The mayor wasn't following the law. And the law required the mayor to get other bids. Another bid came in from Blue Cross Blue Shield that actually saved the city more money than GIC, didn't require a $7 million loan order, okay, and is providing the same benefits at the current rates that you're talking about. And they were able to stay with their current drug companies because some of the city employees get their drugs from Canadian pharmacies, and they get them at a much lower cost. So by virtue of that, they were able to stay with those things, and that's what they were trying to fight for. But their copays have gone way up. And the one thing they got away with, which was something nobody wanted to talk about, was the fact that every time they went to the hospital, they would have to pay a $250 facility fee, which I don't pay a $250 facility fee when I go to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm paying like $400. To go into the hospital, it's $450.
No. This is a facility fee. They go to the hospital in the ER, and they get sent home. They get charged additionally to the bill and the deductible. They get charged $250 facility fee. Okay. Do you get charged a $250 facility fee?
No, but I get charged $400 or $500 to go to the hospital.
I get charged $1,500 a year in deductible.
But I look at it, CJ. They had this stuff. You know what I mean? So it just, to me, everybody wants their small piece of the pie. And if you get enough people out there to scream, like the fire department, we need the firemen, but then I never see, there are small groups that you never see, like the school department, they never go, you never have anybody out there. Pay as you throw, when we went out there were 10 people at that meeting, but everybody's in an uproar, but 10 people show up at a meeting.
And again, Ken Pacheco has a very hard job for the city.
Oh, he does, there's no question about it.
He told me something this week that I realized, and it's true. Everybody's asking. The fire department is asking for more money. The school's asking for more money. The police is asking for new cars and for more money. Ken Pacheco is the only people, he's in charge of the only people that visit every single door on this city every week.
Yes.
Police department don't do that. Fire department don't do that. And they have more people than Ken Pacheco that visits sometimes twice a week the same house. Okay? So that's why this city, the problem we have, it's if you scream, you're going to get. No, you're not going to get if we don't need you.
But the problem also is...
No, I agree. It's frustrating lately.
But the problem also is that it's the way and manner the city has been doing this for the past couple of years that has been making it worse. And I'll address one issue. The water department. I know we need higher water fees. I see the budgets. I know what's required. And even in those budgets, so nobody can say they didn't see it. It shows every year a 10-cent increase in the water fee to pay off the bonds. Okay, is that reasonable? Yes, it is. I think it is. But you will hear everyone every year that this comes up scream, rant, and rave that we can't do this. The problem is that if Terry Sullivan, if Kenny Pacheco, if all the other department heads looked at their budget for the year and said, we need an increase on the base water fee here, we need a 10-cent raise here, we need a 15-cent raise here, let's put this all together and do it all at once, then you only got to deal with the crap once, but you get what you need.
But you know what, though, CJ, and I'm going to give Terry a little bit of kudos here, because basically, you know, they talk about this fine and it's a bad thing, but you know what? You have 40 employees there. It's hard to keep up on all this stuff when you have those 40 employees. And the other thing I'll say with Terry Sullivan is every year that guy comes in, and it was even when Carrera was in. Remember Carrera, before he left? They didn't want to raise water fees because it was an election year, because people would flip out. And I don't know about you, but for a single family, I'm paying $120 a quarter for water. A three-family that we own next door to me, I'm paying $220.
Yes.
And they have washer and dryer. So what's that, $50 a month? People are screaming. And there was something in the paper, I don't know if you read it, somebody put an article about that they have several multifamily homes in Fall River,
Yes,
and you're taxing us. Yeah. So I look at this as that, I wonder, I bet that lady doesn't live in one of those houses or near them. She probably lives somewhere. So that is a business. And I think I've heard this, that's a business. I don't feel sorry for you. You're making money off this to live. You know,
exactly. I mean, how many owners have empty apartments for years? Because they say, you know something, the house is paid, I just need to pay my tax and pay my bills. If that takes only renting one apartment, the other apartment, it's closed. I don't want to deal with trouble.
No, you're right.
I don't want trouble.
Owner-occupied will do that, but you know what? The people that don't live here, they don't care if they're terrorizing everybody in the neighborhood.
And they take anybody.
But I support the fact that, you know, people are going to say, oh my God, he supports that. I support the fact that if you are not in an owner-occupied property, I actually support those properties being converted to the commercial tax rolls and the commercial rates. Because you know what? It is a business.
It is.
Okay, but I live in my property and I rent the 2 apartments that are above me, and I take good care of my property. And, you know, I don't want to be penalized because one of my tenants makes a mistake one night and throws a trash bag in there that's not a pay-as-you-throw trash bag.
I think there's going to be a different learning curve. I don't think they can do it right away. But you know what's interesting? I saw something on Facebook the other day about when this is implemented. This guy has a trash barrel with trash pouring out of it and trash all around it, and says they won't pick up my trash. Well, apparently you're not putting it in there. Well, I don't want to recycle, and going on and like very aggressive and arguing. It's like this doesn't happen other places. Why? You know what I mean?
But you see, this is the other thing that the privatization company is offering. Okay, you don't have to separate any of your trash because it goes to their center, and they have built an entire facility that handles this. And what they do is they actually sort the solid waste from the organic waste, because there's now a new rule regarding organic waste that the school departments are going to have to subscribe to, and then all the recyclables. And they actually pull out more recycling than even our type of recycling does here. So is me paying that private company $24 cheaper for me than paying more and having the tenants pay more? Because, again, one of those 96-gallon containers only holds 3 large bags and 1 small bag. And I understand some people are going to use small bags, and some people are going to use the medium bags, and some people are going to use the larger ones. But the thing is, it's only 3 in 1. So I'm going to have to put out 2 out there. Okay? So what happens is, you know, that's $27 in bags a month. If you put out 1 barrel. If you put out 2 using that formula, it's, you know, 54. So I'm going to pay less going through a private company, and I don't have to worry about being fined because I got recycling in there, or I didn't sort it, or there's a trash bag in there that shouldn't be in there.
And the way that I will resolve this is in 2 years, if I was the mayor, in 2 years, it's not worth it to have it. We won't have it. Call your company to get your trash picked up. We're not picking up trash no more. You guys didn't want us to take care and for you to pay cheap. Still paying cheap, but getting the service done. Then go private. See if you can fund and trash pickup for less money.
Well, Kenny Pacheco actually said that on the radio yesterday.
Exactly.
He said if
people want this way, take it.
And Kenny Pacheco said if it doesn't work for him, he's going to privatize. So
no, I totally agree. But in particular, before we finish, in particular this time, I'm not in support of the mayor for a lot of times. This particular one, I'm 100% behind him. and this particular one, I think that people's been thinking and taking part personally, attacking him personally, which don't have nothing to do with this, using this to attack the mayor, and I don't think it's right. And when you say that he's putting this through our throats, down our throats, I got a lot of things on my throat that I'm paying for, that the city council put down my throat, and the mayor put into my throat that I have to pay.
You know what cracks me up, though,
and
Carlos?
I don't agree with.
We had about the bonding, right? Durfee High School. I had said this when I went before one of the council meetings. I graduated in '82, right? The school was 4 years old. I was the first class to graduate.
And it had problems.
And it had problems, but now I graduated maybe 30-something years ago. And the school, we're building a new school, and they're approving a bond for $120 million for the school. And we aren't going to be able to take care of that building because we don't take care of any buildings.
But
Exactly.
the thing about the pay-as-you-throw
Exactly.
again, and some of the bonding is the same thing. One of the things that the mayor didn't take into consideration is every town around here has a holiday for pay-as-you-throw, and they also have programs in place for low-income and seniors. The mayor said if I did that, it would not be, we couldn't use it because it wouldn't fund the budget. Because he's depending on $3.5 million on potential fines and bag sales to fund his budget. You can't fund the budget on maybe money. And if you look at this budget closely, it's all maybe money. And that's not a good thing.
I mean, we do have a lot to learn with this. On the way, we will learn that we have to work with the tenants that have, business as renting apartments. Yes, we need to work with them, and I mentioned that to the mayor. They make washing machines and dryers on their basement to accommodate the interests of their tenants. Why don't you put a vending machine on your basement with the trash bags so your tenant don't have to go to the store and buy it? They can just put the quarters and take the trash bags, and go the process. Help your renters to go through the process. If we work together, we can make it, and everybody can save a lot of money, because I would put it, you will pay as you save. You want to save? You can save.
Again, this is going to be an issue that's going to go on until August 1st.
And after August 1st, we need to buy the bags.
I hope this has been the only person, this mayor has been the only person to kind of do this. Nobody else would even attempt this because they're just afraid. They want to get in again. We don't need that. We want to move forward.
And last the mayor that tried to do something to raise prices was Mayor Correa, that put the $35 fee.
And look what happened.
And look what happened. Now people say, we should keep them for another 2 or 4 years.
Telling us we got to go. So
now
sorry.
It's too late.
Sorry, CJ.
CJ, thank you again for coming.
And thanks for your help.
It was a nice conversation, right?
It's always fun. Shame we couldn't get to the budget.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Have a good night.